Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome to lecture 20. In this lecture we will discuss various attributes of leadership and team building. In this week, in the last few lectures we have been discussing various aspects on change management. In the last lecture we discussed how to resolve conflicts and in the change management paradigm, and we have seen that in resolving conflicts and change management paradigm, the leadership is very important aspect which play a big role in urban governance. So, it is very important therefore to see the various aspects of the leadership, and leadership is not never fulfilled if there is a better team working along with the leader. So, leadership and team building both should be discussed together. So, today we will be covering these two subjects under the urban governance section. So, today basically apart from the discussion on the leadership and team building, we will also have a summary on the urban governance, that is the first section of this whole course. So, let us start the leadership part. Now, I was just going through the few of the urban issues. In this picture you can see that there are various reports in the newspaper and the electronic media which is reported, and which is where urban governance is given, the urban governance has been put before the question mark or the question mark, and whenever this kind of issues come, definitely the overall urban governance and the leaders, this comes to question that how whether really we are able to lead our urban area or not. So, here the leadership is questioned here, because there are technical expertise to avoid this kind of situation. So, leadership is the question. Along with this, we showed few pictures last day, these pictures as well, just to show that yes, a effective leader can change the very worst scenario to scenario like this. And we mentioned an example of a mayor of Jim Lerner from the city of Curitiba. So, therefore, it is very important. There are many cases like that, it is not a standalone separate case. So, it is very important that to see what are the basic attributes of a leadership. Now, a brief description of the leadership, especially for the public office, is that leadership is the holder of the public office, and it should promote and support these principles by leadership and example. A leader will always make example so that the team can follow, and since it is a public office, there is a statement given by a Supreme Court cases regarding the public office. I would like to share with you, just have a read before I explain something. So, let me just underline few keywords. So, I hope you could read the basic keywords like principles of public life for every democracy, and the conduct of every holder of a public office entrusted with certain powers and public interest, powers for public interest, and therefore, the office is held by them in trust for the people. So, this statement give ending with the word people. So, in the public office like municipal corporation or the municipalities, the people who are leading the organization, basically it is the trust of the general people and because of that trust they are enjoying some power for the democracy. That is why they are bound to, they are mandated to perform for that organization. So, with this let us see some general attributes of leadership. Now, first is the courage. A leader should have a courage from within. He or she should take risk, he or she should have enough courage to fight with any issue and any problems in that area or within the organization, so that he can defeat, he can conquer that problem and definitely can show the team successful scenario or some solution. Selflessness. A leader should always show the interest of the people, interest of the others first. He will keep the interest of the others first and then his own interest. Next is the dignity. It is not only the self dignity, it is the self dignity and dignity of the others. A leader always recognizes others' contribution, recognizes each and every human being's contribution and their participation in the overall governance framework. Next is the mental strength. Definitely without the mental strength a leader cannot perform, and mental strength comes with determination. Whenever a leader takes up any project, unless he is determined to perform that, to fulfill or to accomplish that work is never done. So, determination and mental strength is much more important here. Missionary zeal, and together I would like to discuss vision and missionary zeal. The example which I showed for the Curitiba mayor, it is the vision that another 10 years or 15 years how our cities could be. So, it is the vision and a zeal to do something as a mission that is required for a leader which takes the whole team and whole city into a new scenario. Then ability to take risk. You have to take risk. Without taking a legitimate risk, a leader cannot be successful, because there are uncertainties, but one successful leader must take legitimate risk, and he will be able to calculate the possible implications of the risk, and therefore, he is a better person to take that risk. So, that is the another very much important attribute of a leader. Strategic, yes, at times a leader has to be a strategic leader in terms of taking decisions in organization, in outside the organization, within the city, outside the city. We discussed in the beginning that a organization like urban local government, they have to interface with the people, with the other government organization. Therefore, a leader has to be strategic and has to play a right kind of role in interacting with various kinds of organization. Next is the constant vigilance and monitoring. Whenever you are working with the team, you have to be vigilant, you have to monitor their work, so that you can assure that yes, at the end of the time the work is done. Yes, teamwork is essential. Making a cohesive team, making a dedicated team is the first job where before executing a project what a leader need to do, because if a leader works alone, a work cannot be performed. So, teamwork is important. So, we will discuss teamwork in much details little later on. Research and development and knowledge. Research and development, every leader has to have their own knowledge and set of information for instructing a team or for vision or envisioning the team, because he has to have some basic information to jump before the project or jump before the work and along with the team, and only then the team accepts leader as their leader if they find that yes, leader has sufficient knowledge and experience and the sufficient research and informations are there, then only his acceptance will be there. Care for details. A leader, since he or she puts his interest at the last, therefore, he cares for the details of the team and the organization in very much details. So, that is another important aspects of the leadership. He is human in his conduct and consideration. He treats people humanly, he recognizes them, he treats them humanly and with humanity, and he keeps humanity at the top irrespective of any other diversities and the differences. Self development, it is not the sufficient that to make team or the vision to envision and to develop knowledge, it is also important to develop self as a leader. Every person at the end of the day is an individual person, and how he is doing, how he is developing self by constant upgradation of the knowledge, constant upgradation of the skill, and constant upgradation of his leadership power and the management power by constant practice and feedback mechanism, that is important. In the last section of this whole course, we will have 2 dedicated weeks for self development, where we will completely discuss that for a self development of leaders and the city managers, what are the effective skills which a leader and city managers can practice. So, therefore, we will discuss this part also in the later, so that at the individual level each of you can get maximum benefit from the self development, which sometimes acts as a beneficial for our personal life, the official life, and as a whole for the benefit of the country or the organization. So, therefore, we discussed various aspects of team building. I would like to mention that this is just a indicative list of the attributes of the team building. There are set of team building skills and the management skills which which we will discuss when we will be discussing the development management and the self development part. So, this is overall just an overview on the attributes of the leader in total. So, a leader is never a successful leader if there is no team working on behalf of a leader. So, therefore, we should learn team building in greater details. You have seen that the organization where a leader and a successful or efficient team is working together, those organizations are successful and they are performing better. If you have a better team, but a bad leader, it cannot perform. If you have a better leader, but bad team, they cannot perform. So, it is the combination and compatibility of the leader and the team building which is required at every organization level, not only the urban governments. Now, let us see the description or the definition of the team. A team is a cohesive group. Please see the terminologies which I am trying to highlight. Cohesive group of small number of people having mutual trust. This is very important point in a team building. Faith and respect with complementary skills and committed to a common purpose, performance goals, and collaborative unified approach. Therefore, if you see the terminologies like cohesive group, trust, faith, and respect. So, these are very important aspect in a team building which a team member has to have. Now, advantage of the teamwork: a teamwork is always sharing information and ideas. Then a meeting psychological needs being with others. It is not only the psychological needs of the organization, it is also organization, individual, and family. So, a team member always share all these requirement as well. Benefits of possible specialization: when there are multiple specialized people in a team and they exchange with each other, everybody benefits from the specialization. And urban government is the classic example of having too many specialization in that work. For example, in urban sector you need planners, engineers, architects, finance expert, management expert, the assessment expert, the community development expert, the infrastructure expert. So, it is a fantastic opportunity for for creating a team, so that everybody can get benefit of mixing with each other. Not only that, the improved learning and decision making. We learn within our team from each other that how to take decision for a particular aspect. So, these are the advantage of the team work, and also synergy of the effort. We know that 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, but if we work in a team, 1 plus 1 is equal to 3, because we get more ideas when we work together. So, this is a indicative demonstration of how the advantage of the teamwork could be there. And overcoming individual biases. When we work individually, we are driven by our own perception, we are driven by our own biases and own individual outlook of a particular job, of a particular problem. But when we work in a team, we can share our thoughts, we can share our perception and the feelings, and we get an opportunity to get screened, and our perception and understanding becomes refined, and we come out from our biases. That is the most important advantage of a teamwork. So, and it is possible when we have mutual trust, faith and respect to each other. Next, there are few disadvantages we should also understand and be aware in when you are working in a team or you are creating a team as a leader. So, first is the stifling of individuality and hence creativity. Sometimes individuality becomes bigger in a team building. So, when an individuality or the I factor becomes bigger, that is a deterrent of a better team building. So, always avoid the I factor and avoid that, and therefore, you can enhance the creativity. Cost of time and effort in building a team. Team building is an investment of time and resource. If you want to have a long term benefit in your organization, in your city, you have to build a stronger team which will be dedicated, which will be matured enough, which will be adult enough to invest their own time together. So, it is the cost of time and effort which is required to create a better team. So, it takes time. So, basics of decisions may tend to keep team member happy rather than being critical examination of situation and key factors. So, sometimes the basis of decision becomes critical. So, in a team where you are working, it is important to have a consensus and then take a decision and go ahead. And there could be danger of group pressure when the team becomes very big. There are multiple groups and there could be pressure from the groups. So, it is important to understand the group dynamics within the team, how various groups are working, and a leader has to be strategic in addressing those group dynamics. And sometimes unhealthy competition and rivalry should be avoided. As a leader, your job is to create, nurture an environment of healthy competition and a cooperation and collaboration instead of unhealthy competition and rivalry. Each and every person within a team will develop, will grow on their own positives and team positives, not the otherwise, not the on the negatives. Then there are 4 stages of team building. I told you that team building is a time taking and the exercise. It takes time, it takes efforts and resources. So, first stage is the forming. So, forming in the first stage, where you form a team, you give time to the team so that they can consolidate, they can discuss their things, and after some times you see that there is a situation, we call it storming, because there are differences within a team, and you have to give the time to team to come out with the differences and the agreed points, so that they can come out with the differences, agreed differences, and can chalk out a plan to resolve those differences and come out to a common solution. And those are we are calling as a norming, so that they can make their own norms, set of benchmarks, set of timelines, guidelines, etc., to perform some job or to reach some point of some stature from the current stature, and then it is the performing. Once the forming, storming and norming is over, then the last stage is the performing, where team performs with all trust, faith and common goal. So, if we differentiate these 4 stages, the forming is the basically coming together, get acquainted or knowing each other and start thinking. In storming, it is basically identifying the differences in the team and agreeing in differences and also commons. In the norming, they basically it's the action plan resolve differences to reach common goal, and then you are going to performing stage where you are basically taking action, you are taking action actions to perform, and therefore taking action to perform an assessment of your performance. So, therefore, these are the 4 basic stages in a team in a classical team building exercise. Then the aim of team building is to helping people who work together to function more effectively in teams and to assist the team itself to work more effectively as a whole. So, ultimate aim is to work together and effectively, these two are the keywords you should not forget. Then what are the functions of the team? Improving performance and results. Team is the combined or cumulative performance and the result of a team is more than the summative performance of the each and every individual. That is the best scenario of a team building, making greater use of both individual and team strength. Then resolving problems. A team always resolve problems in a better way, because in a team everybody has their idea and they can share the idea and they can resolve problem in a better situation. Then team building involves few activities like regular and frequent working sessions, team tackling on problem with help, identifying and tackling root causes and issues, openness, honesty and risk taking, action oriented and commitment to decisions, individual willingness to put time and effort, leaders preparedness to accept feedback, development of interpersonal skill, and program unique to the team, some unique program which is unique to the team that can be taken. I think that all these points what I have shown in the slides are self explanatory, and more or less these actions are going with the 4 stages of team building that we discussed just now. And so, therefore, let us see that with this chart we started discussion on the organizational performance 2-3 lectures back, and in this organizational performance we have seen that environmental factor, motivational factor and capacity building factor is the 3 important factor which influences the performance of the organization, and where we saw that visioning, leadership and team building, capacity building, reform, systems and process improvement, and change management, conflict resolution, transparencies and accountability, each and every skills are important in this whole scenario of performance improvement. And one after another we discussed each and everything like transparency and accountability, urban reform, change management, visioning exercise, and today we discussed the leadership and team building. So, therefore, all these attributes, with all these skills and attributes and related discussions, I hope that you got some idea that what are the various pillars of urban governance, like all the skills, visioning, leadership, team building, change management, reform, conflict resolution, transparency, accountability, which improves the urban governance as a whole, and also systems and process improvement. So, with this I would like to conclude this particular lecture, and also I would like to have a brief summary of the urban governance part. So, in last 4 weeks, including today the current week, we have discussed various aspects of urban governance. Next lecture onwards we will start the discussion on the urban management and the development management. So, we started the discussion in the first lecture with the introduction to urbanization, where we discussed the basic concepts of urban areas, and then we discussed the urban governance, where also we discussed the concepts of governance, general concept, various tiers. And constitutional provision, basically we discussed the 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992 and various provisions under that constitutional amendment. We have seen that under this constitutional amendment, municipality is the elected government, third tier government, and it has 18 specific job, and it is kind of a Ramayana and Mahabharata document for every municipality. The legislative provisions, and legislative is also a very important document. After constitutional provisions, every state government, they have made their respective state act, municipal law or municipal act or municipal corporation act, to streamline their activities in the municipality. Organizational interfaces, this lecture was basically focused on the interfaces between the organization, people and group, and we discussed that these interfaces were vertical and horizontal both. Then we discussed the people and community, what kind of people and community groups are there. We had two discussions on that, focused on the people and community. We discussed thoroughly that what could be the models of the community participations in planning and your urban governance. Then we discussed the few important pillars of the urban governance as a resource, like people, we discussed land as a basic resource, environment and ecology, and then we discussed the feature of Nagar Panchayat and non-municipal urban local bodies, that also we discussed in one particular lecture. Then we entered into organizational development, where we see that how an organization functions, what are the attributes or the influencer which actually influence the organizational performance. We have seen the environmental, motivational and the capacity which influences the organizational performance, and to improve that there are various aspects which need to develop and which need to be taken care of, like transparency and accountability, capacity building of organization. We had two detailed discussions on the capacity building, including all the ongoing programs in the capacity building and training, and systems and process improvement, which is also required to enhance the organizational capability. Urban reforms and managing change, we had two lectures in urban reform and managing change. We thoroughly have seen that how urban reform was instrumental in last more than 10 years, from 2004 to 2018, and because of the reform, each and every urban local government, they are going through a change management paradigm, and because of this change management paradigm, they are supposed to bring a long term and short term and medium term changes in the government as a whole. For that they need some amount of visioning for the city, that also we discussed in one lecture. Whenever change management is there, conflicts will be also there. So, resolving conflicts in the change management, and then today we ended the discussion with the leadership and team building. Without a effective leadership and team building, an urban governance cannot be better governance. So, with that we concluded the discussion on the urban governance. So, based on this we will share the reading materials. I hope that you have gone through the basic essence of this lecture series. Next lecture onwards we will start the discussion on the planning and development. So, lecture 21 will be basically few essential concepts of the planning and development, so that we can start understanding that following the governance, leadership and team building, how actually we manage day to day work of a organization and development work, especially in the urban sector. That is a very interesting part which will follow mostly 4 to 5 weeks, and followed by in the last few weeks we will discuss the essential competency, skills and the self development activities required at the individual level for the city managers and the leaders. So, therefore, I thank you very much for attending this lecture. Thank you very much.